Good evening, Inspilled Glimmers, and welcome back to another episode. Last time we talked about the North American Championship, and since then, quite a lot has happened. We were talking about not enough communication. We might not have gotten the right kind, but we definitely got communications. So, a lot of stuff to talk about. Alexandru, welcome back.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Let's talk with the topic we were actually touching on last time.
Yeah.
Dueling cards.
Yeah, so we were like spitballing about what dueling cards will be. We didn't get like the exact specification, but we saw some cards which kind of like I want to say like confirm what they will be.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to be the or variation of the card, depending, like, given on the art. We're gonna show them to you on the screen in a second, but definitely some interesting takes. Some of them being the face cards of the new starter decks, which seems surprisingly interesting for starter decks.
Actually, I'm quite excited for the starter decks. Like we've like. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen the Belle and the Jafar. We're going to show them on screen right now, and we're going to talk about them a little bit. But these cards seem quite powerful for starter deck cards. We know we had like Hiram in set number 2. We had the Mims and Marilyns and whatnot. But
Actually, I was going to touch on the fact that recently, the starter decks have somewhat improved. Because we were talking about this with one of my friends at the shop today. In set 5, one of the starter decks had the foil Elsa that's almost worth the starter deck.
Mm-hmm.
In the new set, there's a foil Go-Go in one of the packs. So, like, they're getting better at putting at least the face cards, good value cards that are actually playable.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that's what we're going to see here as well, especially with the Belle that's got a lot of people talking.
It's got a lot of text too.
Yeah. So Belle Mechanic Extraordinaire is a 7/7 for 9, shift 7. That for each item card in your discard, you pay 1 less to play this character using her shift ability. So basically 7, but if you have a bunch of items in your discard, she costs less to shift. Hopefully we get a good target for her.
Actually, we already have Strange but Special that is not bad.
Fair enough. And Repurpose, which is whenever she quests, for 3, you may put up to 3 item cards from your discard to the bottom of your deck to gain 1 lore for each item moved this way. So, a new kind of blue-red. She is a blue-red card, obviously. But yeah, a new kind of blue-red archetype, moving away from probably the Tabatoa, heavy, Lucky Dime heavy type of mechanics to be more into maybe Oswald and the Queen and like that kind of blue archetypes.
Yeah, we've seen this deck. I remember in set number 4, at the tail end of set number 4. I've played against a bunch of those in Toronto before set number 5 became legal. People were playing with the Queen, the Diviner Queen from set number 4. And now Oswald, you mentioned it, is a really good engine card for this. You can play a lot of what we call in Magic eggs.
Yeah.
So like really small items that just like draw a card, give you incremental advantage, and that you can probably sacrifice with things like Hiram. That is always going to be a great card. So
Is Hiram a good card? I haven't heard about it.
I don't know. It's been played since set number 2, right?
Yeah.
In every blue deck under the sun. So yeah, I think it's interesting now to have like we spoke in last week's episode, like really big face cards, for the Duel Links, to give a personality to that Duel Link that just not necessarily like what we've already seen. It just makes you build a little differently.
Yeah. And Belle's counterpart in that deck is going to be Beast, Frustrated Designer, which has a little bit more of the aggressive red in it. It's a 5/5 for 6, questing for 2, that as I've had it. You can exert him, pay 2, banish 2 of your items to deal 5 damage to chosen character. So obviously a good synergy with Belle, where Belle can recycle those items in the decks. But yeah, being able to just use those items that you're playing and that give you some incremental advantage as they're entering, and just use them to machine gun the opponent's board, there's value there.
The card is probably not on par with other competitive cards, but it's gonna be a lot of fun within the context of that starter deck to have that synergy going on with your two rares, your two face rares. I mean, to just build a really strong board with them.
They're definitely an amazing build-around duo. And I gotta say that the art for the beast with the little rose pin is like... I mean, most of the arts we're gonna show today are just gorgeous.
Yeah, they're great. Like the little monocle, it really conveys like blue and red ink.
Yeah. And before we get to the second starter deck, because it's gonna take us on another route, they also showed us Lady Miss Park Avenue, the card that we had the art revealed for during the North American Championship, announcing the Lady and the Tramp franchise arriving. 5 ink, 4/4, quest for 2, shifts for 3, so she's a Floodborn. And when you play this character, you may return up to 2 character cards with cost 2 or less each from your discard to your hand. So this is having all the aggro players really happy right now.
Yeah, like I saw that card and I was like, that's strong. Like I would like to play this on turn 5, like shifting it on turn 5, having to loose ink to play maybe like, I don't know, like double Merfolk. That's really strong. Like it really lets you play a lot of board presence, and this is like the floor. When I said 2 1-drops, it could be like a 1-drop and a 2-drop. It could be 2 2-drops, like depending on how far you are within the game. You can have a really menacing board right there.
And this is the kind of gas that will help those non-Amethyst aggro decks cross the finish line. Because right now, every aggro deck has to be Amethyst to Rose, what's his name?
Merlin.
Goat. Merlin Goat, to be able to cross that finish line. Now with that, I mean, you can recycle your stuff in your yard plus the Lilos. Jeez.
You don't also have to have like incidental draw cards to have value, to generate value. Now you can just go eat from your discard pile. So
yep. So no, definitely interesting. And then there is the second starter deck with at its helm our new big bad for the next 2 sets, Jafar. Jafar newly crowned. He's a Dreamborn villain sorcerer. 4 inkable for a 2/4, questing for 2. And its ability?
Well, during your opponent's turn, whenever one of your illusion character is banished, you may return that card to your hand. So we're gonna talk about illusions right now. Actually, we can just
because like the card itself doesn't do much outside of knowing what illusions are, and illusions is a new card type.
It's a new card type. It's actually like people are gonna be frowning at me for bringing it up because they're doing exactly the same thing as illusion in Magic the Gathering,
and apparently in Yu-Gi-Oh, and apparently in a lot of other games. Apparently, illusions are just illusions in every single game.
So what do illusions do? They have in this game the little keyword vanish, which says when an opponent chooses this character for an action, banish them. So I would assume that it's not when this accomplishes an action, it's when it's targeted by an action.
It chooses, so yeah, it's when it's targeted.
Exactly. So it's just the wording is a bit, I want to say convoluted, because targeting is not really a thing in Lorcana. So what the card we've seen here is Iago, the giant spectral parrot, a 4/6 that quests for 1, costs 4 inkable, and it's evasive. So it's a big body.
It also does his best impression of Godzilla.
Sure, it's over aggro by and just like.
But yeah, like 4 for a 4/6 that quests for 1 and is evasive. That's way overstated for Amethyst. We're not used to that. But then again, if you like let the storm rage on it, oh, he's just gone. If you, I don't know, do an action that gives it +2 attack this turn, it's just gone. Like any kind of removal or any kind of targeting that is not a bounce, because it will bounce if before his vanish resolves. So like don't think you're gonna be able to play what's the green one? Was it Mother Knows Best?
Mother Knows Best.
Yeah, don't think you're gonna be able to target it with Mother Knows Best and he's not gonna bounce. He is. But if you choose him with just about anything else, he's gonzo. So we might see, if this becomes meta in any kind of way, we might see some very cheap removal in the form of like, chosen character gets +1 strength or gains evasive this turn, draw a card. Oh yeah, he gains evasive this turn. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, I would say it's probably really weak to opposing steal strategies like steal song and whatnot. But we don't know what the meta will look like in set number 7. So and we can just go back to the Jafar we were talking about, because we mentioned that he interacted with illusions. Yep. So what he says is that when an illusion is banished, you may return it to your hand. So then you will just have your Iago banished, comes back. You can just start playing again. Use him as ink. You have a lot of versatility and like flexibility with this card, which I like.
And with Jafar being our new big bad, something tells me it's not the only illusion we're going to see in the 2 upcoming sets.
No, it's kind of his thing now. So, and also, I don't think it's going to be the last Jafar we see.
Hopefully not.
Well, we're going to see one in set number 8, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They also revealed a Sven. We're not really going to talk about him, but he's a Blurple Sven that has Rush. It's kind of bad.
It's the 2/6. It's not a great buddy. Like,
I would have rather he'd be 6/2 anyways. But yeah, so
it kind of raises just a little comment from me. Like, I was like, oh, is dueling gonna be just only for big bus characters and whatnot? It's not gonna be. It's gonna be all over this set, as we see here with Sven. That is just an uncommon. So we're gonna see a lot of it, which is an interesting hoop to play around, but also it's not a good incentive to be playing Blurple. So it's kind of weird. I hope that they use it sparingly enough.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes, but interesting that they're exploring the designs. So, which brings us to the second announcement we got in like a few days. Those were just going really fast, and that's changes to all of the organization for stores when it comes to being part of the Play network, how they're going to organize their events, the platform, the rewards, everything. So Ravensburger came out with a post last week announcing the Ravensburger Play Hub, which is, we assume, going to be their replacement to Melee.
Yeah, so I think they're going to do away with Melee, at least for local tournaments. We cannot speak for DLCs and whatnot. By experience, I think that maybe we will have to stick with Melee for a little while if this platform doesn't support like a huge player base.
We already know that Melee sometimes struggles on DLC days, so
and like Melee is really good for those big event players. I'm just talking about the Magic companion app, which was used for big tournaments and that just crashed mid tournament. I hope that this is not the case here and that it's good enough to be supporting a lot of players. We're gonna have to see. I haven't even been myself on it. Like, I work for a store and I'll have to familiarize myself with the platform. I haven't been on it yet. It's still kind of like in a prototype, and
we still have a set to go because it's gonna release with Reign of Jafar. So Arcadia's Island not impacted by that. Then Reign of Jafar, it's gonna come in. The biggest new changes: stores are gonna have to do their pre-release, their weekly leagues, and their set championships through it. But it's gonna come with quite a bunch of goodies. For pre-release, now only the stores enrolled in this program will have pre-release, not all the hobby stores. They're gonna have the pre-release 1 week in advance from regular store, and they're gonna get buy a box promos as well as pre-release pack rush events packs. So they're going to be able to organize events and just sell the pack rush packs as a bundle, similar to what other games like Magic do. And there's going to be buy a box promos now when you buy boxes to encourage people to buy locally instead of buying on the internet and all that. So really good for the stores, I think.
To read here that it really encourages store to have an enfranchised player base that comes to play at the store, that are recurrent members of the community. I think this is great as a store employee. I've been working in stores forever. I think this is great. It's a good initiative. I have nothing bad to say about it. I want to say, so, I feel this is a good incentive. Not that every hobby store has an active community, so it will kind of, I want to say, level the playing field.
Yeah, and I feel like certain areas where some of the stores were just getting their league kits and set championship kits and not necessarily using them or using them to the fullest, will have to be kept honest.
Yeah, I've seen some just going on the internet on they were just receiving them and putting them on sale on eBay and stuff like that, and I really didn't like that.
So really good for the player base in general. I think that the promos are going to be distributed that way. Maybe we don't have information. It might mean that the stores having it will get a wider array of promos. That is just speculation. We do not have any information on this.
Mm-hmm. And we had another little change that came with this announcement. I'm thinking you by short. So it's Set Champs. Set Champs is gonna change this. All the structure of Set Champs is gonna change. Now we're gonna have only one playmat.
Yep.
For Set Champs.
So really exclusive now. You have to win that event if you want that champion playmat. You're not gonna get second place playmats anymore. They're still keeping the foil promos, but
8 foil promos. So we're staying for top 8, which is a goodie. And then there's the part that's a bit more, I would say, controversial. They're giving to each store 40 non-foil of the promo.
I know you're not a big fan of it. I am, so we're a bit split on this.
Yeah, and it's not just my, I want to say, competitive aspect that wants it to be otherwise. I would have liked if they came up with, we're giving a 40 of a promo, and then there's another promo that's a top 8 promo, not just like foil non-foil, because this is kind of, I want to say, diminishes the desirableness of your 8 foil promos.
I mean, I will counter that to a degree. Is your foil Cinderella worth less because they made the non-foil version on the prize wall?
I would have to argue that this is not the same.
It's not exactly the same, but sure, there's not going to be as many people just willing to buy whatever promo is on sale because they want to collect it.
Because my point was, back in the Stitch days, Stitch was worth a lot of money.
Yep.
If we had non-foil Stitch alongside the foil Stitch, never ever would have it been like a 4-figure card.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's say this set, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we'd had Altart, Sail the Azurite Seas, with the foils and the non-foils, don't you believe that the people chasing the foils would be willing to pay even a little bit more? I think it's the playability more than the availability.
We're getting into another debate here of the playability of cards, because this is the main issue here. We've had 2 set champ promos that were quite bad.
For as gorgeous as this car is.
The Scar is really great.
The Scar is great. The playmat is.
People are still really excited to play for it, more so than the
Mirabelle.
The Mirabelle Madrigal. So, I want to say good on them that they made a fine promo that brings a little more people. But I've seen what very good promos do, and it's great for the in-play experience. I would really like to have a really playable promo. I'll still stand on my hill that give us 40 promos of something like Sell the Azurite Sea, and then your top 8 promo is Maui Half Shark. I'm just highballing here.
Oh God, the price what that card would have.
Cha-ching.
That one I would have chased for the playset.
Oh yeah, everybody would have.
And so that's the biggest change to the set championships. Also coming with Reign of Jafar, so we still have 1 round going as is. We're gonna keep you updated as we get more information on this.
I'll be testing with it for Arcasia's Island. They're inviting you to just try it a little bit and test with it. which I will do week by week at the weekly league.
All right. And then we had a weird announcement that somehow has people on the internet
Buzzing?
incredibly hyped for something that, like, it makes sense coming from Ravensburger, but I was not necessarily expecting it.
Well, crossovers,
So on, like, Thursday, Ravensburger just posted a tweet and announced that in fall 2025 they're going to come out with
Puzzles. That's their big, like, flagship product. It has been for years. That's what they're known for, except for other, like, board games and whatnot. And now they're gonna include Lorcana promos inside their Lorcana puzzles.
And to be fair, the art on a lot of the Lorcana cards is absolutely gorgeous and makes total sense for puzzles. I can see a puzzle of Belle, what's their name? Mystique.
Accomplished
Mystique, or of course, Honey Wizard. But like I can see those cards getting a puzzle treatment, being like 1,000 pieces that big. It's gonna sell out.
I would actually decorate like my living room with something like that. I'm in the process of framing my Rapunzel playmat. Like I would have also one of these arts instead of just a print. Like
It makes complete sense. I think it's a good business decision, but yeah, it's surprising. It's new. We're gonna get more news as it comes out. They haven't announced which cards are getting the puzzle treatment and what the promos are gonna be. The promos are probably not gonna be the same as the puzzle art, so.
Or maybe they will.
No, I think they've announced that it won't be.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they've announced it will be a different promo than the puzzle art. Okay. Probably so that the puzzle art can be a known card and the promo can be a chaseable promo.
That's fair.
And that brings us to a little run around on our last episode where you were telling us about your article.
Yeah, so I've just bumped into some, I want to say, obstacles with the release of the article. I've tried to do some editing, some revision. I've talked with some people that are quite known in the Magic business for having published articles. I wanted to make it really good, so we mentioned it in last week's episode. I think we're gonna put the link in this one right here. So right there. So I invite you to go read it. It was really a journey just writing about it, as much as it was a journey going to the Continentals, as much as it was a journey, like this Lorcana journey was a journey per se. So I just invite you to read it. There's a lot of clarification. There's a lot of story time and whatnot. And I think it's pretty enjoyable, objectively so. Not very subjective.
I mean, I for one haven't seen it yet, and I'm really eager to see what's in it. But in the meantime, this brings us to a close of this episode of Ink Spilled Glimmers. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment with what do you think of the new cards? Like, are you excited by the Dual Link, or does that leave you kind of meh, or would you have rather that lady was just an amber? Let us know. But we'll see you in the next one. This was a shorter one, just keeping you up with current events. We definitely had an amazing deck tech coming for you guys and some spicy interviews. So stay tuned for the next couple of weeks. But we have a very good Ruby Sapphire deck coming that is a bit different from what we've seen traditionally and has been performing super well both at the Continentals and in local set championships. So stay tuned for that. And until then, keep questing.